Today I fricked up. NR92 says. Today I fricked up trying to order a white chocolate mocha latte. Went to the Starbucks kiosk at my job. Told the barista I wanted a white chocolate mocha, grand, with only 2 pumps of white chocolate. She said what? I repeated that I wanted a white chocolate mocha latte. She put in hot chocolate. I noticed her error right before using Apple Pay. When I reiterated that I wanted a white chocolate mocha, literally said I'm sorry, but I actually wanted a white chocolate mocha latte, not a hot chocolate. She said you said chocolate, that's a hot chocolate. Trying to make sure I was saying my order right, I repeated no, I just want a white chocolate mocha latte, while lightly tapping my hand on the counter after each word in the order name slowly. The tapping I was doing W/O thinking as I was very focused on making sure I said all 4 words correctly and in the right order: white tap, chocolate tap, mocha tap, latte tap, to avoid confusion. I didn't raise my voice or did anything else that would have expressed aggression. The barista immediately got offended at my taping. She quickly snapped at me, okay, you want a white mocha and you don't need to do all that tapping to get what you want. Caught off guard, I tried to say that the tapping wasn't for her, but for me, but I'm sure that whatever I said wasn't good enough, and she left in a huff, asking another barista to take her spot. I ended up being served a mocha latte, not white chocolate, and they didn't even call out my order. Later, I looked up the drink on the Starbucks website to see if maybe I had said it wrong, which I doubted. B/C I have ordered the same thing for years now, and I wasn't wrong. It is listed as white chocolate mocha latte on their menu. Now I'm too embarrassed to go back there again, at least not for a long while. Too long. Didn't read. Offended a barista without meaning to while trying to order my go-to Starbucks drink. B/C I started tapping to help me. No, not literal says. People complain about needing the app, but honestly skipping the barista at counter is often worth it for me. Degeneracy says. Yay, I use apps. The amount of intercoms that are busted, or microphones being bad, it's easier to say FS25 than #3 no onion. Too often the orders are wrong. App solves all that. Wiener6 says. Or baristas that are busted apparently, who hears mocha and puts in a hot chocolate. Mobile87 says. Was out with my cousin when she ordered an iced tea, black, and they came out with hot water and told her to get a tea bag from the station. No, I wanted it iced. So they made hot tea and they poured it over ice, which melted all the ice and diluted it completely to a barely tan colored water. No, just iced tea. Like regular, black, iced tea. So they made hot green tea and put that over ice. Do you not have iced tea? Barista, oh, just regular iced tea. Yeah, no problem. Cousin. Kurt Ludwig says. More than 10 years ago I was in Toronto and at several places asked for unsweetened iced tea. I'm from New England, that's what I want, that's what we call it. When traveling in the southern US, I'm prepared for we only have sweet tea, in which case I'd like water, thank you. In Toronto I got a series of looks that indicated I was insane. Finally my friend said order cold tea, which I tried, and, no problem, right away. What the hell? Turns out iced tea, at least at the places I had gone to, meant instant tea made from mix, and what I was asking for was for them to somehow remove the sweetener from the tea mix. Cold tea starts its life as tea leaves and becomes a beverage with water. Toronto is the most amazing multicultural city I've ever been to, but that one struck me as pretty weird. Noel Isle says. That's not a Toronto thing, it's a Canada thing. Iced tea is always a sweetened drink for us, regardless of whether a mix is used or not. It was equally as jarring to go to the US for the first time and get plain cold tea when I asked for iced tea, lol. Fizzbitch says. Typically if you see a Starbucks inside a grocery store or somewhere other than a standalone store, the employees are not Starbucks employees, but rather hired by the grocery store or whatever the bar is located in. For example, if you go to a Starbucks inside a Vons supermarket, those employees are Vons employees. Someone from Starbucks will train the first supervisor at that kiosk and that person will pass down the training. This means you end up getting people who got a very watered down version of the training. I've noticed a huge difference in the amount of mistakes when getting drinks from standalone stores as opposed to kiosks in other locations. Today I fricked up. Snodogus9620 says, today I fricked up by accidentally sending a very personal message to my entire family group chat. So, I've been dating this girl for a few months now, and things have been going really well. Last night, she sent me a pretty flirty message, and this morning I wanted to respond with something equally flirty. I was half awake, still lying in bed, and without my glasses on, I typed out a message full of suggestive images and, let's just say, some very explicit content. Feeling quite pleased with myself, I hit send and drifted back to sleep for a bit. When I woke up, I had several notifications on my phone. Turns out, I had sent that message not to my girlfriend, but to my family group chat, the one that includes my parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. My mom had responded with a simple, I don't think this was meant for us, and my grandma just sent a string of shocked face emojis. My cousins were having a field day, sending laughing emojis and teasing comments. My dad and uncle stayed suspiciously silent. I immediately sent an apology, explaining it was a mistake and meant for someone else, but the damage was already done. My mom called me later, and we had a very awkward conversation about being more careful with my phone. Too long, didn't read, I accidentally sent a very explicit message meant for my girlfriend to my entire family group chat, resulting in mass embarrassment and a very awkward conversation with my idle rumbling says, double down. So how's all y'all's love lives going? Sajin Savage says, this is the way. Zxgrayatix says, think the real question is what did you say? Farts Mick G says, the only thing he could, hey family, how you doing? Nilzatron says, only one option now, join the Navy, never come back. Green Dragon 14 says, now the French Foreign Legion and disappear. Nilzatron says, even better. New passport, new life. Downside, you're French now. Zero Jokes says, you're fine, you're just going to get teased about this for the next rest of your life. Matiphonex says, if that were me, I would want to die, like being sucked by a portal or something lol. Still funny to me. ThinCount1673 says, I did this with my mom last week. Her response, at least someone's getting laid in this family, best response possible emo. Darth Pimpin 69 says, your mom seems chill, show it all to your GF, and have a good laugh at it. Fassiafster says, the damage is done. All you can do in the future is put your glasses on. Acrobatics Horse 3 says, commit to the bit, now send everyone a dick pic. Matty says, we need the message. Reridan says, well they now have a lot to talk about at the next family gathering. So, how is sexting going with your GF? At least there were no nudes. Nosamat says, question about the dad and uncles. Do you think they're in the everyone one makes mistakes, that why pencils have erasers camp, or in the I hate group chats, and will ignore my notifications camp? Photojournalist Doc 331 says, tell them it should have been a picture of your dick, so be thankful they are only reading some messages. Alarmed at 4367 says, I heard the best quote somewhere: life is what happens in between the plans. You just experienced life, yeah. In the moment it's embarrassing. In the long run, it's a frickin' hilarious piece of shared family history that all of you will potentially be able to bond over. Don't mistake your grandma for some sort of innocent delicate flower, by the way. She's a grandmother. She has had all the sexual experience. Her shocked image is a reply. Useful Lab 2185 says, oh no, I'm glad your family seems cool. Rupjoy 19 says, oh, I bet the cousins were having the time of their lives. Today I fricked up. Chicken of the year says, today I fricked up be making a bear cream condom in a sex ed class. Hi everyone, my name is BJRN, which means bear in English. This is important to understand how messed up this story is. I worked as a teacher at a school in Norway. During a health science class, I had to give a lesson on sexual education. To make the condom demonstration as realistic as possible, I decided to use a soap dispenser to squirt a dose of clear, transparent soap into the tip of a condom, and then tied it off. The soap looks exactly like real semen. I use this to explain how a condom works, and how to handle it afterward. When the lesson was over, I threw the condom in the trash can. Unbeknownst to me, some of the students retrieved it, and took it out during a break. It quickly became known as Bjornekram, which translates to bear cream in English. This nickname spread to other classes in no time, and soon enough, both I and the soap was widely associated with Bjornekram bear cream. Some drama queens of some students even refused to wash their hands, because they started to associate the soap with, you know what. I ended up having to send out a written notice to the class and staff explaining that it was part of the sex ed lesson, and that I used soap to make the condom look realistic. It was an embarrassing moment when I had to explain it to adults. The students nicknamed the soap Bjornekram, bear cream, for a long time afterwards. Too long, didn't read, tried to make a sex ed lesson realistic with a soap-filled condom. Students found it, called it bear cream, and I had to explain to everyone it was just. Shibby 523 says, this ended up a much better today I fricked up than the scenarios my mind raced through upon reading the title. Boost says, also one of the better possible outcomes after the sentence, unbeknownst to me, some of the students retrieved it and took it out during a break. Shibby 523 says, that one brings up a whole new slew of scenarios as well as could be a whole today I fricked up off its own. Caught in a Tramp says, I mean at least it wasn't a bearskin demonstration. Hempus Maximus says, he also did not teach them the pulling out method. Ghost 10 deleted says, I definitely thought this would be worse, this is pretty funny. Kids are immature, what else is new? Hell, I'm in my mid-30s and still laugh at farts. Justicmum says, when you're so farts, and you both just keep making each other bella harder and harder. Masterson says, good on you for showing them that part with actual liquid in it. But, one reason they use blue liquid in tampon commercials is to create a bit of space. Just a small suggestion. Hatethis Subreddit says, why did it just occur to me that I have never associated blood with tampon and pad ads? I will never be able to unsee the blue now. Larger Innocuous says, college students taking sex Edward. Chicken of the year says, it's a bad translation from my side. They are 14 over 15 years olds. Notorious MMK says, in some places in the world college means high school, or like a vocational high school and university is post-high school education. 30i963 says, that was hilarious. Ryneb says, this is hilarious, also bear cream sounds so much sexier than say Dave cream. Jaronimojo 12 says, this is amazing. I hope 50 years from now the students at that school are still referring to the soap as bear cream, but through the generations of youthful imagination the story has grown into a tale of epic proportions. Wilgina 1981 says, if this happened here in the US, the teacher would be fired and labeled a creeper, dozens of media would be at the school and the principal would be forced to step down. Robert Spum says, typical teenagers. Nepatent Baller says, I don't see how this is a frick up. You did nothing wrong. Ltcare says, this is way better than what I thought. Mayo. Mrilazard Buzinus says, I was raised in Texas, and so I'm still shocked that you were allowed to show an actual condom in class, much less a demonstration. Our sex ed was basically a breakdown of every standard, followed by abstinence is the only 100% way to prevent STDs and pregnancy. It was possible to go through school and graduate without having any idea what a penis or vagina looked like, or being able to name any birth control methods. Texas. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.